Hi, this will be a continuation of the uh, video on URL session. Okay, in that video we set up a movie manager project that loads JSON data from the iTunes website, and right now we're just printing out the raw data to the console. So what we need to do is take this JSON data and convert it into something that we can use directly in Xcode. Since the data is coming in as JSON, probably the easiest way to work with it is to use SwiftyJSON. So I'm going to go to the web here and look up SwiftyJSON. And here it is on GitHub. We'll go there. And there's a few ways you can use this. They have some options to load this, I think, with CocoaPods and Carthage or one of those version control things. Since this is actually just the SwiftyJSON is actually just a single file, just one file, we can actually just download the project and drag the file into our project. So I'm going to download this SwiftyJSON project. I'll just download the zip, and then I'll go get it over here, and I guess it's right here. And in the source folder, there's a file called swiftyjson.swift. So I'm going to grab that. Let me get my Xcode project here. And then let me close these windows, get them out of my way. And then I'll just drag SwiftyJSon Swift into my Xcode project and make sure I copy, or I check the box, copy items if needed, and have this, add to targets checked there. And there it is, SwiftyJSon. So now we've got the project, got this file in our project, we can just use it, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to the Movie Manager class, and what we want to do is we want to create a new JSON object from the data that we loaded. So let's comment these things out for now. And our session is handled in this closure right here, okay? So the code in this block is running when the data is finished loading. So what we'll do is we'll say let JSON equal JSON, and then we want to load JSON with data. Okay, so, and I think that's this one right here, JSON data with data, right? And then our data is this data right here, so we'll put that data in here. And this guy right here is actually, maybe it's this one right here, is actually an optional. So that kind of causes a problem here if the thing is nil. So, we can check on that. Maybe we want to do this. Maybe we want to add a guard statement here. We'll say guard, let data equal data, else do something. So we can say print data was nil for some odd reason, and then we'll return, right? We might also want to check the URL response and check for errors, and we can do that up here too, but for right now let's just convert our data into JSON and live a little dangerously. Okay, so now that we've got that, let's see if we can print out our JSON and see what it looks like. So I'll run my project, and there we go, right? And if we look in the console here, you can see we have a huge amount of data, and it's very readable in the JSON form there. And so that's really great, right? There you go. So how do we deal with this? There's so much stuff in here. Like, how are we going to work with this, okay? Probably the best way to do it is to look at the JSON data in a viewer, just so we can, view the JSON and kind of sort through it, okay? It's hard to view here, easier on the web. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the web, and I'm going to look for the JSON formatter validator. Okay, or actually I'm going to look for this guy right here, JSON formatter and validator. And the formatter validator allows you to input JSON directly, so you could copy and paste that JSON, or you can paste a URL in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the same URL that we're using in our Xcode project to get the 25 top, items in, from the iTunes movies, and we'll load those. And actually, this number right here, 25, that's the top 25, but that actually makes this JSON file really long. So why don't we just cheat and type a number 2 in there, and then that way we'll just load the top 2 movies, and that'll make this like a little bit more responsive because it'll have less stuff in it, right? So we'll click run or process, right? And it gives me an error. It says invalid for some reason. Don't worry about that. This is the formatted JSON down here, right? And that looks very good. So what we'll do is I'll scroll up here, and you can grab the drawer at the bottom here and kind of drag that open a little bit. And these little things here, you can kind of close them up, right, if you want. So let's take a quick look at this and see what we have. I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit, right? What do we have here? Well, at the very top, we have an object, okay? So it's a dictionary. And then the first thing in the dictionary is called feed. And if I close that up, you can see that's the entire thing. So the first thing we need to do to get to anything in here is we got to go to feed, okay? So let's do a little test here. Let's try and get to the name of one movie. So what we'll do, instead of printing JSON here, what we'll do is we'll print JSON bracket feed. So that should get us to the first level of the JSON object, or the JSON data, right? So that gets us here. So let's open that up. So what do we have in here? I'm going to close up the top level here, and let's see what we have. It's a little confusing because there's a lot of stuff here, right? So what do we have? We have author, entry, updated, rights, title, icon, links, and ID. So actually, entry here, it's a little hard to see, but this one is done in square brackets, so that's an array. Everybody with a curly bracket is an object. So link is an array also, okay? So the way that I think this works is the author just says like who published this, so it's probably like iTunes. Entry is the 2 movies that we asked for, or the 25 movies in our Xcode project, right? And then updated, rights, title, icon, link, and ID. These are sort of metadata for the whole feed. So we can ignore those for now, right? And what we really want to look at is we want to get to entry, okay? Because this is where each movie is going to be. So we'll open that up, and then let me close these things up inside here, and we'll take a look at the 2 movies that we have. And wow, this movie has like a lot of data here. Yeah, there we go. So this is one movie right here. Okay, so this is the first movie. And this is the second movie, right? So each movie is a dictionary. And then that dictionary has an IM name. I guess that's iTunes movie name, iTunes movie image, summary, iTunes movie rental price, content type, title, link, ID, artist, category, and release date. Okay, so let's get the name. This is the iTunes movie name. So if we look in here, it has a label. So to get to Ghostbusters 2016, we need to look at feed, entry, and now don't forget the array here. So this will be item 0 because it'll be the first item in the array. And then we need to do IM name, IM colon name, and then label. Okay, so let's go over that again. Feed, entry, 0, IM name, and label. Let's see if I can remember that, right? Okay, so there's feed, and then we got to do entry, and then we're at the array. We got to get item 0, and then we're going to say IM name, and then bracket label. And this is getting pretty long. And then we have one more step to do with SwiftyJSON, and SwiftyJSON makes this really easy. This is the kind of the tricky part with JSON, parsing JSON, is that we have to say what type the thing is. So in our case, it's a string, and so SwiftyJSON actually just lets us put .string on the end. Let me make that a little bit wider there, right? So now we can see it says JSON feed entry 0 im name label.string, and so this should return a string, and we should be able to print that. Let's give it a try, right? Maybe I'll do this too. I'll just say print, and we'll print a bunch of stars here, and then we'll copy these stars on the next line there, so the name should be between the stars. Let's give it a try. Hey, there we go. Optional Ghostbusters 2016. So that looks like it worked pretty good, right? And then from here we can try and get all the other things, right? So I would probably start with making some variables. Maybe this would be an easy way to do it. We can say name, equals, and then we can put this thing over here like that. And then that'll be an optional, and then later we can collect all that stuff together and put it into an object, okay? So anyway, hopefully that helps you out getting started parsing the JSON, okay? And you would just go through the same thing that I did there. I think using this JSON parser here and setting the number of items in there down to a small number rather than the full 25 here for testing is a good idea and will help you out. If you want to get the other features, like maybe you want to get the category of the movie, we can go down here and we can find, it would be, entry or feed entry item 0, category, term, and it might be comedy, or label might be comedy, right? So you can try that on your own, okay? Thanks for watching, and I hope that was helpful.